Good morning, David Hinton, coming to you from Brandon, Mississippi. Hope all is well. Today, I'm going to be talking to you about the power of life metaphors, how talking to yourself can change the outcome of your business and your relationships. I'm continuing on with Awaken the Giant Within. And here Tony talks about the power of life metaphors, which I guess this would be a good time to tell you what he had to say about this. At the beginning of the chapter, he says, "What is a metaphor? Whenever we explain or communicate a concept by likening it to something else, we are using a metaphor. The two things may bear little actual resemblance to each other, but our familiarity with one allows us to gain an understanding of the other. Metaphors are symbols, and as such, they can create emotional intensity even more quickly and completely than the traditional words we use. Metaphors can transform us instantly." One of the most famous users of metaphors, of course, was Jesus. Jesus spoke in metaphors and more particularly in parables to get across a bigger point, correct? So I guess, how does this relate to us in our daily lives, relationships, and in our particular niche, our businesses, our home-based business, our online marketing efforts, our network marketing company? By the way, be sure to subscribe to my channel and hit that bell so you'll be notified when my videos do come out. So anyway, which brings me to the point, how are we using metaphors? So let's just, for instance, here's an example. I'm drowning in debt. Drowning in debt. What if you were to turn that around and say, I'm climbing my way towards a positive net worth? You've said the same thing, but one has tremendous power to bring you down. The other one has more power to lift you up, correct? My business is stuck in neutral. How about this? I'm building momentum towards a huge breakthrough. All right, we're talking about the exact same thing, but a big difference, right? Now, if you're in any form of sales, which certainly includes home-based businesses and business owners, you need to be aware of the balance sheet, of course, right? But if you're building towards profitability, and that could be anywhere from the formation of the concept of the idea onward, you need to talk to yourself with much more kindness. You don't need to be speaking to yourself like an old school collection agent would, right? All right. So we must take charge of our metaphors. And let me read you something else that he said. He said, just realize that changing one global metaphor can instantly transform the way you look at your entire life. Okay? For instance, again, we must take charge of our metaphors. If you live by the metaphor, life is a battle, you'll take on the mindset that everything is adversarial. There's clear winners and losers. And somebody's probably going to get seriously hurt or even killed. Maybe you. What if you were to turn that around and say life is a game? That might conjure up thoughts of fun, teamwork, competition, happiness, and even celebration. So there's a big difference there. There is a big difference. Okay? Now, carrying on here. He says, with all the power that metaphors wield, with all the power that metaphors wield over our lives, the scary part is that most of us have never consciously selected the metaphors with which we represent things to ourselves. Where did you get your metaphors? You probably picked them up from people around you, from your parents, teachers, coworkers, and friends. I bet you didn't think about their impact, or maybe you didn't even think about them at all, and then they just became a habit. All perception of truth is the detection of an analogy, so said Henry David Thoreau. So now he lists 5 steps for changing your life metaphors. Number 1, try this following exercise. What is life? Write down the metaphors you've already chosen or that you already are using subconsciously. If it's, life is a battle, life is a struggle, whatever it is, sit down, take some time, write it down. What is currently playing in my loop in the background in my mind, right? Number 2, make a list of all the metaphors that you link to your relationships or marriage. What do you have to say about that? All right. What are the metaphors for work in general, particularly your home-based business, your online marketing, whatever it might be that you're doing? What are those metaphors? Okay. Number 4, create new empowering metaphors for life and relationships and work. 5, finally, decide what you're going to live with. Decide that you are going to live with these new empowering metaphors for the next 30 days. Now, this is going to take, again, conscious effort. It might take some quiet time to actually think about what these things are and how they impact your life. Sometimes it's the little nuances that can make all the difference. If you can change, for instance, if you think of your significant other as a ball and chain, if you could change that to the love of my life and live with that consistently. If you're from work perspective, if you consider it drudgery, something that you have to do for a certain period of time so you can go do something else that you really want to do. If you can change the way you speak to yourself about it, you can change the way you feel about it, which in time will change the outcomes that you are seeing. Now, this, like so many other things that I've discussed, is not something that happens immediately. And if you just give it a once over, this will do absolutely nothing for you. However, I firmly believe that if you will spend some time with this and really analyze the way you think, the way you speak to yourself, the way you speak to others, it's going to make a huge difference. It may take 30 days, it may take 90 days, it may take a year, but be here 30 days from now. Be in this 6 months from now. Change the way you're speaking a year from now. And I think people will say, what happened to him or her? Boy, they sure are different. They don't know the work you put in, but you did. So it's all a cumulative effect, right? It all adds up. Slight edge. Boom. So anyway, hope you got something out of that. Please be sure to subscribe to my channel. If you're curious about me and what I do, check my links I have in my the little section below. Would love to connect with you. If you'd like to get in touch, email me, david.h.hinton@gmail.com. I also have a site I'm working on, workwithdavidhinton.us. I believe that's right. Anyway, have a great day.